I found them in his suit pocket while checking for dry cleaning tags. Tiffany blue, that unmistakable shade that makes every woman's heart skip. The small box sat heavy in my palm, a promise of something beautiful inside. But it wasn't meant for me. Madeline. That's who I am. The wife who finds jewelry meant for another woman while doing her husband's laundry on a perfectly normal Tuesday afternoon. Mommy, can we have pizza tonight? Lucas tugged at my sleeve, his Nintendo forgotten on the couch. Emily says she wants the one with no red sauce. I slipped the box into my pocket, plastering on a smile. Sure, buddy. Let me just finish with Daddy's suits first. The house hummed with the usual after-school chaos. Emily's Disney songs blared from the iPad, mixing with Lucas's video game sound effects. But all I could hear was my own heartbeat, drowning everything else out. Ryan had been working late more often. Sales meetings, client dinners, the usual excuses. I'd believed them because it was easier than not believing them. Until now. My phone buzzed. Ryan's face lit up the screen. Hey, hon. Probably another late one tonight. Big presentation tomorrow. Of course. My voice stayed steady, practiced. The kids want pizza. I'll save you some. You're the best. Love you. The lie tasted bitter. I ended the call and pulled out the box again. Inside, diamond teardrops caught the afternoon light, scattering it across my kitchen counter. $3,000, minimum. I'd done enough window shopping at Tiffany to know. Those are pretty. Chloe's voice made me jump. She stood in my doorway, all yoga-toned and perfect, holding a basket of fresh muffins. Sorry, your door was open. Thought I'd bring over some treats. I snapped the box shut. Thanks. Just leave them on the counter. She lingered, eyes fixed on my closed fist. Everything okay? You look pale. Fine. Just tired. I forced another smile. Kids are watching TV if you want to say hi. Actually, I should get going. Hot date tonight. She winked, adjusting her perfectly styled hair. Don't want to be late. After she left, I sat at my computer and pulled up our joint bank account. $3,200 withdrawn last week. Business expenses, the note said. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, tempted to dig deeper, to confirm what I already knew. Mommy, Emily's being mean. Lucas's voice broke through my thoughts. I'm not. He started it. I closed the laptop and stood up, the box still clutched in my hand. The kids needed dinner. Homework needed checking. Life needed living, even while mine crumbled around the edges. That night, after tucking the kids in, I placed the earrings back in Ryan's suit pocket. Let him think his secret was safe. Let him come home late, kiss my cheek, and slip into bed smelling of unfamiliar perfume. I opened my phone and texted Grace, need a lawyer's perspective. Lunch tomorrow? Her response came quickly, usual spot. 12:30. Everything okay? I didn't answer. Instead, I lay awake, listening to Ryan's steady breathing beside me, planning my next move. The earrings weren't just jewelry anymore, they were evidence. And I'd always been good at connecting dots, seeing patterns others missed. Tomorrow, I'd start pulling threads. See what unraveled. But tonight, I'd let him sleep peacefully, dreaming whatever dreams unfaithful husbands dream. After all, revenge, like those diamond earrings, is best served with perfect clarity. Grace pushed her salad around the plate, her lawyer face firmly in place. Bank statements, phone records, credit card bills, we need it all. And Maddie, you need to be smart about this. No confrontations until we have everything. The cafe buzzed around us, but I barely noticed. My wedding ring felt like a brand on my finger. He's getting sloppy. Yesterday, he left his phone unlocked on the counter while he showered. And nothing. I couldn't do it. Felt too much like what he's doing to you. Grace's voice cut sharp. This isn't about playing fair anymore. The waiter appeared with more water. Through the window, I watched Chloe walking her designer dog, all bouncy ponytail and expensive athleisure. She waved, bright as sunshine. I lifted my hand mechanically. That's her, isn't it? Grace's eyes narrowed. The neighbor you mentioned? She brought muffins yesterday. Standing in my kitchen like she belonged there. My fork scraped against the plate. While wearing his earrings. Grace's eyebrows shot up. You're sure? $3,000 worth of sure. The memory of those teardrops catching the light made my stomach turn. She probably thought I wouldn't notice. Or maybe she wanted me to. My phone buzzed. Ryan's face appeared on screen, along with his message, family dinner tonight? Mom and Dad want to see the kids. Perfect timing, Grace mused. His parents should know what's happening. No. The word came out harder than intended. Tom and Linda adore him. It would break them. They deserve the truth. The kids deserve peace. I typed back a quick agreement to dinner. I need to handle this carefully. That evening, Linda helped me set the table while Tom entertained the children. Ryan arrived late, as usual, but brought expensive wine and his sales pitch smile. Sorry, everyone. Traffic was murder. He kissed my cheek, his cologne unfamiliar. Something smells amazing. Mommy made your favorite. Emily announced, climbing into her chair. The chicken with the stuff. Ryan's phone chimed. He glanced at it, his expression shifting slightly. Great, honey. Just need to answer this quickly. Linda passed the salad. Surely work can wait, dear. We hardly see you anymore. It's important. He stood, already typing. 2 minutes. I watched him step onto the back porch, his silhouette animated in conversation. Through the glass, I could see him laughing, that real laugh he used to share with me. He's working so hard lately, Linda sighed. You must be proud, Maddie. My throat tightened. Very. Daddy promised to take us camping, Lucas piped up. But he's always busy. Soon, buddy, Ryan said, returning to his seat. Things are just hectic right now. The conversation drifted to safer topics, school projects, Linda's garden, Tom's golf game. I pushed food around my plate, watching Ryan check his phone under the table. Then his phone chimed again. This time, he stood abruptly. I'm sorry, everyone. Emergency client meeting. He grabbed his jacket. They're threatening to pull out of a major deal. But we haven't had dessert. Emily's lower lip trembled. Next time, princess. He kissed her head, then mine, mechanical, distant. Don't wait up. The door closed behind him. Through the window, I watched his car pull out. Then, making a decision, I turned to Linda. Would you mind watching the kids for an hour? I forgot to pick up Emily's medication. Of course, dear. Linda squeezed my hand. Take your time. I grabbed my keys and phone, heart pounding. The GPS tracker I'd installed on Ryan's phone that morning blinked steadily on my screen, moving across town. Away from his office. Toward Chloe's yoga studio. Be careful, Grace had warned earlier. Once you start looking, you can't unsee what you find. But as I followed the blinking dot, I realized I was done being careful. Done being the understanding wife. Done pretending not to see what was right in front of me. Sometimes, the only way forward is through the fire. The neon sign of Marcello's cast a red glow across the rain-slicked parking lot. Ryan's car sat in the back, next to a familiar white Mercedes, Chloe's pride and joy. My hands trembled as I killed the engine, but not from cold. Through the restaurant's window, I could see them at a corner table, heads bent close together. Ryan wore his blue suit, the one I'd bought him for our anniversary. Chloe wore the earrings. My phone buzzed. Linda, Emily's asking for her goodnight kiss. Everything okay, at the pharmacy? I typed back a lie about long lines and traffic, then switched off my phone. The guilt of using my children as cover burned, but not as much as watching my husband reach across the table to brush Chloe's hair from her face. The hostess smiled as I entered. Table for one? No. I gestured vaguely toward the bar. Meeting someone. I chose a spot where the potted plants provided cover but still allowed a clear view. Ryan laughed at something Chloe said, that deep, genuine laugh I'd been missing. She touched his hand, and he didn't pull away. The bartender appeared. Can I get you something? Just water. My stomach couldn't handle anything else. Their wine arrived, the expensive Bordeaux Ryan claimed was wasted on my unsophisticated palate. They clinked glasses. Celebrating something I couldn't hear. My wedding ring caught the light, mocking me. Another water? The bartender's voice carried concern. I shook my head, pulling out my phone. The camera clicked silently as I captured their intimate moment. Then another as Ryan leaned in closer. And another as Chloe's fingers intertwined with his. Bad night? The bartender persisted. You could say that. I watched Ryan check his watch, probably calculating how long before he needed to return to his family charade. Then it happened. As they stood to leave, Ryan pulled Chloe close, kissing her with a passion I hadn't seen in years. My phone captured it all, each image a nail in the coffin of my marriage. They walked out holding hands, unaware of my presence. Through the window, I watched them embrace in the parking lot. Ryan whispered something in her ear that made her laugh. The same laugh I'd heard through my kitchen window countless times. My phone buzzed back to life with missed calls from Linda. The kids needed their mother. Ryan would return home later, smelling of Chloe's perfume, ready to kiss our children goodnight with the same lips that had just betrayed us all. The bartender slid a business card across the counter. My sister's a divorce lawyer. Just in case you need it. I pocketed the card, leaving cash for the untouched water. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the air felt heavy with promises about to break. At home, Linda met me at the door. The children are finally asleep. Ryan called, said the meeting's running late. Of course it is. I forced a smile. Thank you for staying. Anytime, dear. She hesitated. Maddie, is everything all right? You seem just tired. Another lie to add to the pile. It's been a long day. After she left, I sat in the dark kitchen, scrolling through the photos. Each swipe revealed another moment of intimacy that should have been mine. The earrings glinted in every shot, catching the restaurant's light like tears. My phone chimed with a text from Ryan, meeting successful. Heading home. Love you. I stared at those last two words until they blurred. Then I forwarded the evening's photos to Grace with a simple message, you were right. Time to stop playing fair. The house creaked with familiar night sounds, the dishwasher's hum, the children's soft breathing from upstairs. The tick of the clock Ryan had given me for our 10th anniversary. Soon he'd walk through that door, kiss my cheek, and slip into bed beside me, carrying Chloe's secrets on his skin. But tonight would be different. Tonight, I knew exactly what I was sleeping next to. And knowledge, as they say, is power. Let him think he's won. Let him believe his lies are still working. The best revenge, after all, requires patience. And I could be very, very patient. Grace spread the photos across her desk like crime scene evidence. Each image told its own story, hands touching, secret smiles, stolen kisses. My marriage, dissected under fluorescent office lights. The photos are compelling, Grace said, tapping her pen against her legal pad. But we need more. Bank statements, phone records. He's draining our savings. My voice sounded distant, even to myself. 3,000 here, 5,000 there. Always marked as business expenses. How much total? 47,000 in the last 6 months. The number burned in my throat. Our children's college fund. Grace's pen stopped tapping. Jesus, Maddie. A knock interrupted us. Her secretary poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but there's someone insisting on seeing Mrs. Thompson. Says she's a neighbor? Chloe walked in before I could object, designer handbag clutched like a shield. Maddie, we need to talk. Grace stood. This is a private meeting. Please. Chloe's perfect makeup couldn't hide her red eyes. 5 minutes. I nodded to Grace, who gathered the photos with practiced efficiency. I'll get coffee. The door clicked shut, leaving me alone with my husband's mistress. Chloe perched on the edge of a chair, her diamond earrings catching the light. Ryan doesn't know I'm here. She twisted her hands together. He thinks he's in control of everything. Isn't he? There's something you should know. She reached into her bag, pulled out a manila envelope. About the money he's been spending. Inside were more photos. Not of them together, but of documents. Bank statements. Wire transfers. A lease agreement for an apartment I'd never seen. He promised to leave you. Chloe's voice cracked. Said he was saving for our future. But he's been lying to both of us. The lease was for a penthouse downtown. Paid 6 months in advance. Not in Chloe's name, but in someone else's, Jessica Martinez. Who is she? His other girlfriend. Chloe wiped at her eyes, smearing mascara. I found out last week. She's 24. Works at his company. The room tilted slightly. One betrayal had been devastating. But this? This was orchestrated chaos. Why are you telling me this? Because I was stupid. Chloe stood, straightening her shoulders. And because you deserve to know what you're really dealing with. He's not just a cheater, Maddie. He's a predator. Grace returned as Chloe left, carrying coffee we both knew I wouldn't drink. She looked at the new envelope on her desk. Do I want to know? It gets worse. I handed her the documents. Much worse. This changes things. Grace flipped through the pages, lawyer mode fully engaged. We need to move faster. Protect your assets before he can. My phone buzzed. Lucas's school. Hello? Mrs. Thompson? There's been an incident. Lucas got into a fight during recess. 20 minutes later, I sat in the principal's office, holding my crying son. His knuckles were scraped, his favorite Spider-Man shirt torn. He said Daddy doesn't love us anymore. Lucas hiccuped against my shoulder. Tommy said he saw Daddy kissing another lady at the mall. I told him he was lying. The principal looked uncomfortable. Perhaps some family counseling might be helpful? I stroked Lucas's hair, feeling his small body shake with sobs. All my careful plans for a clean, quiet revenge evaporated. It's okay, baby, I whispered. Everything's going to be okay. But it wasn't okay. Ryan wasn't just destroying our marriage, he was destroying our children's faith in love itself. And suddenly, my path forward became crystal clear. Back in Grace's office, I looked at the scattered evidence of my husband's multiple betrayals. I'm done waiting. Grace nodded, already reaching for her phone. What do you need? Everything. Bank accounts frozen. Emergency custody order. And I want him served at work. I touched the photos of the penthouse apartment. Let him explain this to his boss, his parents, and his other women all at once. It'll get ugly. It's already ugly. I stood, gathering my strength. But I'm done protecting his secrets while he destroys our family. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. Sometimes it needs to burn everything to the ground. The bank statement trembled in my hands as Ryan walked through the door. Late again, briefcase bulging with lies. Emily ran to hug him while Lucas stayed glued to his video game, refusing to look up. Daddy brought presents. Ryan pulled out 2 wrapped packages. To make up for missing movie night. Where's mine? I held up the bank statement. The $47,000 you took from our savings? That would make quite a gift. The color drained from his face. Emily clutched her unopened present, sensing the shift in the room. Lucas's game console beeped in the sudden silence. Kids, go upstairs please. Ryan's sales pitch smile wavered. Mommy and Daddy need to talk. They hesitated until I nodded. Emily's small feet thundered up the stairs, but Lucas lingered at the top, watching. I can't explain. Ryan loosened his tie. Work has been expensive? I tossed more papers onto the coffee table. The penthouse on 5th Street must be eating into your budget. Does Jessica like the view? He flinched at the name. How did you? Chloe sends her regards. The laugh that escaped me sounded foreign. Turns out your girlfriends don't appreciate being played either. This is ridiculous. He reached for the papers, but I snatched them back. Those transfers were for legitimate business expenses. Like the Tiffany earrings? Or the weekend trips to the coast? Each word felt like glass in my throat. Our children's college fund, Ryan. Their future. Keep your voice down. His eyes darted toward the stairs. We can discuss this later. No. The word came out sharp enough to make him step back. We discuss it now. Every penny you stole, every lie you told, every time you kissed our children goodnight smelling like another woman's perfume. His facade cracked. You followed me? I didn't have to. You left breadcrumbs everywhere. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through photos. Marcello's with Chloe. The plaza with Jessica. You're not as clever as you think. This is invasion of privacy. His voice rose, corporate lawyer tone emerging. You had no right. Like you had no right to drain our accounts? I stepped closer. To destroy our family? I never meant. He ran his hands through his hair, disheveling his perfect appearance. Things just got complicated. Complicated? The word tasted bitter. Lucas got into a fight at school defending your honor. Emily cries herself to sleep when you miss dinner. That's not complicated, Ryan. That's cruel. A small gasp from the stairs made us both turn. Lucas stood there, tears streaming down his face. Before either of us could move, he ran to his room, slamming the door. Now look what you've done. Ryan grabbed his keys. I need some air. Running to Jessica? Or is it Chloe's night? My voice followed him to the door. The papers will be ready tomorrow. Grace is very efficient. He froze, hand on the doorknob. Papers? Divorce papers. Emergency custody hearing. Asset freeze. Each word felt like freedom. Your choice which to read first. You're bluffing. But his hand shook on the door. You wouldn't. Try me. I walked to the stairs, toward our children. Oh, and Ryan? Those presents stay here. You've taken enough from them already. The door slammed behind him. Upstairs, Emily's tiny voice called out, Mommy? I found them huddled together on Lucas's bed, Emily clutching her brother as he sobbed. Their unopened presents lay forgotten on the floor. Is Daddy bad now? Emily's lower lip trembled. I gathered them both in my arms, feeling their small bodies shake with confusion and fear. The revenge I'd planned suddenly felt hollow compared to their pain. No, sweetie. I stroked her hair. Daddy just made some bad choices. Are you going to make him leave? Lucas whispered against my shoulder. The question hung in the air, heavy with consequences. Outside, Ryan's car engine roared to life, carrying him away to whichever life he'd chosen for tonight. We're going to be okay, I promised, holding them tighter. Sometimes being okay means making hard choices. Their tears soaked my shirt, each drop cementing my resolve. Tomorrow would bring lawyers and papers, custody battles and asset negotiations. But tonight, I just held my children, letting their pain fuel the fire of what needed to be done. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone else, it's about saving yourself. The process server caught Ryan during his morning presentation. Through the office's glass walls, his colleagues watched him accept the manila envelope, his perfect smile cracking at the edges. I shouldn't have been there to witness it, but I needed to see his facade finally break. Mrs. Thompson? His assistant approached cautiously. Mr. Thompson would like to speak with you privately. The conference room felt like an aquarium, all eyes watching through the glass. Ryan stood at the head of the table, divorce papers scattered like confetti. You really did it. His voice wavered between anger and disbelief. In front of everyone. Like you did everything in private? I kept my voice steady. The company should know where their money went. He slammed his hand on the table. I built this life. Everything we have. Had. I corrected him. The accounts are frozen. The house is in trust for the children. Your parents know everything. The color drained from his face. You told them? They deserved the truth. Linda's watching the kids now. My hands shook, but I clasped them tighter. She cried when she saw the photos. This will destroy my career. He gestured at the papers. Is that what you want? What I want. Something snapped inside me. I wanted a faithful husband. I wanted our children to have their college fund. I wanted. The door opened. A woman in her 20s stood there, perfectly polished in designer clothes. Jessica. My replacement's replacement. Ryan, the board is waiting. Her eyes flickered between us. Should I reschedule? No need. I gathered my purse. I was just leaving. Maddie, wait. Ryan grabbed my arm. We can fix this. For the kids. Don't. I jerked away. Don't you dare use them now. The elevator ride down felt endless. In the lobby, my phone buzzed with texts from Linda. Emily's fever is worse. Doctor says we should bring her in. The emergency room was fluorescent hell. Emily burned with fever while Lucas huddled in the corner, clutching his game console like a shield. The doctor's words blurred together: severe infection, overnight observation, insurance verification needed. Your coverage seems to have lapsed, the nurse said gently. We'll need alternative payment arrangements. My credit card declined. Of course it did, it was linked to the frozen accounts. Ryan wasn't answering his phone. I'll handle it. Grace appeared like an avenging angel, her corporate card already out. The court order doesn't affect my ability to help a friend. Hours crawled by. Emily's fever finally broke near midnight. Lucas had fallen asleep across 2 waiting room chairs, his game forgotten. Some revenge, I whispered to Grace. I tried to hurt him and ended up here instead. This isn't your fault. She squeezed my hand. He's the one who. Mrs. Thompson? A different nurse appeared. Your husband's here. Ryan stood in the doorway, still in his presentation suit, looking wrecked. I came as soon as I saw the messages. How is she? Now you care. My voice cracked. Where were you 6 hours ago when they needed insurance approval? When your son was crying because his sister wouldn't wake up? I was meeting with the board. He ran his hands through his disheveled hair. They're suspending me pending an investigation into the missing funds. Good. The word tasted like ashes. They're calling in the auditors. His laugh was hollow. Turns out Jessica was more interested in corporate accounts than just mine. A monitor beeped in Emily's room. Through the window, I could see her small form finally resting peacefully. I never meant for any of this. Ryan's voice broke. The money, the lies. It all just spiraled. Save it for your lawyer. I turned away. Or better yet, tell it to your children when they ask why Daddy lost their future. He reached for me again, but Grace stepped between us. "I think you should leave." After he was gone, I sat between my sleeping children, Emily in her hospital bed, Lucas curled up nearby, and watched the sun rise over the city. Everything I'd done to protect them had somehow made things worse. My phone buzzed with a text from Tom, Ryan's father. "We're here for you and the kids, no matter what. Family stands together." Family. The word felt different now, shaped by betrayal and fever dreams, by frozen accounts and emergency rooms. By the realization that sometimes winning feels exactly like losing. Dawn painted the hospital walls pink, but I'd never felt more in the dark. The moving truck idled in the driveway as Ryan packed the last of his things. 3 weeks since the hospital, since his suspension, since everything imploded. The children watched from the window, their breath fogging the glass. "Just some books left in the study," he said, not meeting my eyes. I followed him inside, keeping distance between us like a physical barrier. The study still smelled of his cologne, though the walls were bare where his degrees had hung. The company's pressing charges. He pulled books from shelves, movements jerky. Corporate fraud. They found everything. Everything? The accounts I set up. The transfers. He laughed hollowly. Even the ones I didn't make. Jessica? Gone. Along with half the company's discretionary fund. He turned, eyes red-rimmed. Turns out I wasn't the only one she was playing. A knock at the door interrupted us. Chloe stood there, diamond earrings catching the light. "I need to talk to you both. Now isn't a good time." My voice could have frozen hell. "Please." She stepped inside anyway. "I owe you the truth." Ryan dropped his books. "Chloe, don't." "I was working with Jessica." The words tumbled out. "She found me at yoga, said she needed someone close to Ryan, someone to distract him while she accessed the accounts." The room tilted. Ryan slumped against the bookshelf. "What?" The affair was real. Chloe's mascara smeared as she wiped her eyes. "But it started as a job. Jessica paid me to get close to you, to keep you busy while she worked her way through the company's finances." "You used me?" Ryan's perfect facade finally shattered completely. "Like you used me?" She pulled out her phone, showed us texts. "Jessica has the offshore accounts. The real money. What you stole was nothing compared to what she took." I started laughing. I couldn't help it. The sound bounced off empty walls while they stared. All this time, I gasped between laughs. I thought I was the victim. The wronged wife plotting revenge. But we were all just pawns in someone else's game. "Maddie," Ryan reached for me. "Don't." I stepped back. "You still chose this. Every lie, every betrayal, those were your choices. I never meant to get caught." The laughter died. "To lose everything? To hurt our children?" Chloe moved toward the door. "I should go." "Yes, you should." I blocked her path. "But first, those earrings. They don't belong to you." Her hands shook as she removed them. They felt heavy in my palm, these tiny symbols that had started everything. "The police will want to talk to you both," I said. "About Jessica, the fraud, everything. I'll tell them what I know." Chloe glanced at Ryan. "All of it." After she left, Ryan stood among his scattered books, looking lost. "What happens now?" "Now?" I rolled the earrings between my fingers. "Now you leave. The kids need stability, not a front row seat to their father's disgrace. They're my children too. Should have thought of that before you gambled their future on lies and cheap affairs." The moving truck's horn honked. Through the window, I could see Lucas and Emily watching, their small faces pressed against the glass. "One last thing." I handed him the earrings. "Give these to the police. Consider it the first step toward making things right." He took them, hands trembling. "I'm sorry. For everything." "I know." And I did know, finally. But sorry doesn't fix what's broken. The children ran to him as he left, Emily crying, Lucas trying to be brave. I watched him hold them, knowing this moment would scar them all. But as the truck pulled away, I felt something unexpected, not satisfaction or revenge, but relief. The truth, however ugly, had finally set us all free. Inside, I found the children in the study, picking up scattered books. Is Daddy going to be okay? Emily asked. I pulled them close, breathing in their innocent scent. Sometimes being okay takes time. But we will be. I promise. The empty shelves watched us, waiting to be filled with new stories, better ones. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone else's life, it's about reclaiming your own. The courthouse steps felt colder than they should in spring. Ryan stood at the bottom, hands in his pockets, while our lawyers exchanged final documents. His suit hung loose, prison time does that to a man. The restitution payments will start next month, he said, voice rough. Once I'm working again. The kids need stability more than money. I watched Lucas and Emily playing tag around Linda's legs nearby. But you already knew that. Jessica took everything. He laughed without humor. Turns out I wasn't even her biggest mark. You were just the easiest. The words came out sharper than intended. Linda approached with the children, her smile tight but determined. Ready for ice cream, everyone? Emily tugged at Ryan's sleeve. Can Daddy come? The silence stretched like a rubber band about to snap. Then Ryan knelt down, eye level with our daughter. Not today, princess. But soon, okay? Lucas didn't look up from his game console. After they left with Linda, Ryan turned to me. Tom and Linda have been amazing. Better grandparents than I deserve. Better parents too. I watched them walk away. They never stopped loving any of us. While I stopped loving everything except the chase. He pulled something from his pocket, the Tiffany box that started it all. The police returned these. Thought you should have them. Keep them. I stepped back. Consider them the price of clarity. Grace appeared at the top of the steps, files tucked under her arm. Everything's finalized. You're officially free. Free. The word tasted different than I'd imagined during those nights of plotting revenge. Less sweet, more complex. Your web design firm is taking off, Ryan said quietly. I saw the article in Business Weekly. Life has a way of working out. I turned to leave, then paused. Jessica was arrested in Singapore last week. Thought you should know. His sharp intake of breath said everything. That evening, I sat in my home office, surrounded by client mock-ups and children's drawings. Lucas's latest artwork showed our family, 3 figures standing together, 1 smaller figure apart. Is Daddy bad forever? Emily asked from the doorway, clutching her stuffed rabbit. No, sweetie. I pulled her onto my lap. He just made bad choices. But he's trying to make better ones now. Like saying sorry? Something like that. Lucas appeared, hovering uncertainly. Tommy's dad said people who go to jail are evil. Come here. I made room for him too. Life isn't that simple. Good people can make terrible mistakes. The trick is learning from them. Are you still mad at Daddy? I considered the question, thinking of the earrings, the betrayals, the elaborate scheme that had caught us all in its web. No. Being mad takes too much energy. I'd rather use it to build something new. My phone buzzed, another client signing on. The business I'd built from the ashes of my marriage was thriving. Not because of revenge, but because I'd finally stopped letting someone else's choices define me. Can we have pizza? Emily asked, changing the subject with childhood simplicity. Sure. I hugged them close. But first, help me with something. This client wants a website about new beginnings. Any ideas? They leaned over my desk, offering suggestions with infectious enthusiasm. Outside, the sun set on another day in our reformed life. Not perfect, but ours. The Tiffany box still sat in my purse, Ryan's final attempt at closure. Tomorrow, I donate the earrings to a domestic violence shelter's fundraiser. Let them be transformed into something helpful, something healing. My phone buzzed again, a text from Grace, "Drinks tomorrow? You need to celebrate this win." But looking at my children, absorbed in website colors and pizza toppings, I realized I was already celebrating the real victory. Not the legal win or the business success, but this, the ability to build something beautiful from broken pieces. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's the quiet triumph of becoming exactly who you were meant to be, long after the storm has passed.